Alright, I want you all to remember that only a few hours ago, Governor Gavin Newsom levied the accusation against Donald Trump that he is going through a massive amount of cognitive decline, that he oftentimes mixes up names and dates on phone calls, and now we have proof of this as our commander-in-chief decided to do a press conference at the White House and immediately displayed his cognitive decline for the entire world. I want to show you this press conference that contains muted claps when he says really odd things, that contains clear signs of him aging. I mean, just check this out.
We won with workers, we won with young people. I just saw with TikTok, I was #1 on TikTok in its history. Can you believe that? So I guess I like TikTok. That's why they're saying, are you saving? And we probably will save TikTok, actually.
I don't even know what that means or what indicator he is referring to. There is zero indicator where he's #1. I'm not even going to engage with it. He doesn't have the most followers or views on anything. It's very, very just an odd thing to say. His cognitive abilities are rapidly declining, further proven by this clip where he talks about Newsom, and then I'm going to play the clip of Newsom talking about him after.
All read. But now you have to, I always got along with Gavin. I like Gavin. I've liked him. Oh.
No, you haven't. You've always called him Governor New Scum. And I know this might be a trite talking point, but please put yourself in the shoes of somebody in 2014. Obama's the president. Obama levies an attack against a right-wing governor of a red state and calls him scum. You would see that on the front page of every single newspaper. You would see that in every single tweet. You would see that everywhere in 2014. Every single late night show would be like, holy shit. But now it's just the norm with Donald Trump.
I always got along with Gavin. I like Gavin. I've liked him, always. He said I never called him. You know, they asked him a question on Fox, I guess. I never spoke to him. He doesn't remember the call. He doesn't remember. I never spoke. And then I produced a phone call. I had it. It took me about 2 minutes. I said, well, here's the call. It lasted 16 minutes and 4 seconds. And it was at 12:30 in the evening. I actually made a call, didn't pick up. I called him a second time, and he picked up. And I told him, I said, you have to get your ass in gear because
Trump is a proven liar, and the screenshot that he released only reinforced the fact that either one, he lied about the phone call, or if he didn't, he is cognitively declining and was incredibly wrong about the phone call's date and time. He said it happened 1 day ago. When he said that, it was about June 10th, so he was implying it happened on June 9th. No. This phone call happened on the night of June 6th, morning of June 7th. And when it happened, Governor Gavin Newsom talked about it. He said Trump didn't even want to talk about LA. Trump didn't even want to mention it. And now Trump is trying to claim that he's a stone cold liar. That is what Gavin Newsom says. Watch him explaining this.
He can't handle. Because the other night, he came out and said that when you guys spoke, he warned you that if you didn't get things under control, he was going to bring in troops.
Stone cold liar. Stone cold liar. He made that up. Like he makes up so many other things. He never said that.
And he also seemed to make up this idea that the National Guard did a great job last night when they weren't here.
They weren't even deployed, and he claimed victory. He's lost it. He hasn't lost a step. And I saw him trip on the steps today. Yeah. I mean, this is serious. He is not the same person that I dealt with just 4 years ago. And he's incapable now of even a train of thought. He's making things up, and he's putting people's lives at risk. And he's got a band of people that are complicit in this. And that's what's so damn alarming.
And now that he's getting older and older, he's leaning even harder on the band of people around him who are complicit, and it's scary. Now, I do have some breaking news. Immediately after this, I want to talk about Newsom more, but Trump then acknowledged the No Kings protests that are happening on the 14th.
There are several No Kings protests planned across the country on Saturday as well. What are your thoughts on those?
What are they called? No Kings?
No Kings.
I don't feel like a king. I have to go through hell to get stuff approved. A king would say, I'm not going to get this. A king would have never had the California mandate to even be talking to him. He wouldn't have to call up Mike Johnson and Thune and say, fellas, you got to pull this off, and after years we get it done. No, we're not a king. We're not a king at all. Thank you very much.
No, you're not a king, and that's the point. point. But what you're doing, if you want the actual legal argument, not the dumbed down argument that Trump's giving you, is that Trump is expanding his executive power time and time again through repeated actions like sending the National Guard or mobilizing the California National Guard against the explicit objections of that state's governor. Trump is trying to end the constitutional right of birthright citizenship via the executive branch. Trump is using the executive branch to cut, quote unquote, waste, fraud, and abuse, which is illegal. You're supposed to go through Congress. When Trump says he's calling up Mike Johnson and Thune from the Senate and the House, he's actually lying because he didn't call them when trying to cut this waste, fraud, and abuse that he claims. So all of this, the protest is saying, we don't want you to expand executive power anymore. We don't want you to overstep. We don't want you to strip due process away from people, send people to CCOT, which is a terrorist confinement center with zero due process whatsoever, and then weaponize the DOJ against your enemies. Donald Trump is not a king. When he says in this clip, I'm not a king, I don't feel like a king, it's because you aren't, and that's the point of the protest. We are going to prevent that. I do want to say, if you click the top link in the description, you can see where the nearest No Kings protest is, or what I would really like you to do is go to the live stream section of my YouTube page and click notify me for my No Kings live stream. My crew, our team, we are going to be on the ground covering No Kings in a relentless journalist way. And if you want to be there to support, make sure you click notify me or click subscribe below. But to continue, Trump then talks about his farmers only a few hours after tweeting about them.
Peter?
Thank you, President Trump. I have two. First, on immigration. What made you change your mind about targeting in California farmers and people in the hotel and leisure business?
Well, we're not targeting. In fact, if you look today, I put out a statement today about farmers. Our farmers are being hurt badly by, you know, they have very good workers. They've worked for them for 20 years. They're not citizens, but they've turned out to be, you know, great. And we're going to have to do something about that. We can't take farmers and take all their people and send them back because they don't have maybe what they're supposed to have, maybe not. And you know what's going to happen and what is happening? They get rid of some of the people because, you know, you go into a farm and you look and people don't, they've been there for 20, 25 years and they've worked great and the owner of the farm loves them and everything else, and then you're supposed to throw them out. And you know what happens? They end up hiring the people, the criminals that have come in, the murderers from prisons and everything else.
Honestly, we can chalk this up to another taco moment. Trump always chickens out. He was promising the most aggressive deportation campaign. I'm not saying I want that, but that's what he was promising to carry out. And now he's saying, wait a minute, our great farmers and people in the hotel and leisure business have been stating that our very aggressive policy on immigration is taking very good, long-time workers away from them, with those jobs being almost impossible to replace. In many cases, the criminals allowed into our country by the very stupid Biden open borders policy are applying for those jobs. This is not good. We must protect our farmers, but get the criminals out of the USA. Changes are coming. Trump is announcing that changes are coming to his immigration policy. If we take this statement for what it is, it seems like farmers have been lobbying to try to get him to take a less aggressive stance when deporting some of the most vital workers. And I don't want to do the whole I told you so thing, but I mean, every single video I made about immigration leading into the election said a few things. Number one, you can't do this without accidentally deporting or detaining a few U.S. citizens in the process. We were all right about that. We all knew this, right? It's not just me. We all came up with these talking points together. Number two, you can't do this without basically kneecapping a lot of the industries in the United States. Immigration benefits the United States in a million different ways because it reduces unemployment and it gives us a stronger labor force. You don't want to do mass deportations on immigrants. It's just not a good thing. And also, you can't do this without things getting violent as you escalate. And now we're seeing that proven over the past few weeks. In this clip, Trump continues to both sides the Russia-Ukraine war.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. You in the blue, please. Light blue.
Thank you, Mr. President. How close are you to step back on between Ukraine and Russia? We see a very bad escalation. Are you going to leave it in the hands of the Europeans?
I'm very close to the situation. I'm very disappointed in Russia, but I'm disappointed in Ukraine also because I think deals could have been made. And, you know, we're losing 5,000 to 6,000 people a week, soldiers mostly, but also people living in towns because they're getting hit by missiles again.
He cannot talk about this war without both siding it. Here's the fundamental difference. Russia has spent the past 3 years encroaching on Ukraine's territory and breaking every single law on the international books, basically torturing, kidnapping, murdering civilians and children and targeting civilian areas. Ukraine, after a while, said, all right, we're fed up. We're going to strike back, but strategically only hit military targets. They don't even kill that many people. They just make sure that the bombers that Russia uses to kill Ukrainian civilians are dismantled. And Trump doesn't understand that because he doesn't do his daily intelligence briefings. I'm going to leave it at that. If you appreciate the work we do, drop a like, subscribe. Remember, 2 asks. Go make sure you have the live stream saved for Saturday. Also, click the top link in the description. Love you all, and peace out.